My girlfriend refused to defend me after her friend publicly shamed me for being a caregiver to my chronically ill mom, and then gaslit me in private. Now I'm questioning if we're even emotionally compatible. I'm at a bit of a crossroads right now in my relationship, in my life, honestly, and I'm trying to be as clear-headed as possible. I don't want to make a rash decision, but I also don't want to keep pushing something forward if, deep down, we're just not right for each other. I've been with my girlfriend, Anna, for 15 months. It's been a meaningful relationship. She's sweet, thoughtful in her own way, and I know she cares. But lately, I've started to wonder, are we actually compatible? Or have we just been trying to force something that isn't sustainable? Let me start with some context, the stuff that defines my day-to-day. I'm 21. Anna is 20. While most people our age are either coasting through college or figuring out their early careers, my life looks a little different. I'm the full-time caregiver for my mom, who's been dealing with a host of chronic health conditions for years now. My dad? Not in the picture. My older sister? She moved away a few years ago and has basically ghosted the entire family. No calls, no check-ins, no explanations. So, it's me. It's just me. And I don't say that to be dramatic. It's just my reality. I'm balancing work, trying to build a career, and figuring out how to financially and emotionally support my mom, who has good days and really, really bad ones. There are appointments, hospital visits, medication refills, insurance calls, late-night emergencies. I've told Anna about all of this from the beginning. I made it clear, I can't just pack a bag and go on a spontaneous weekend getaway. I can't drop everything and go out drinking on a Wednesday night. Hell, even date nights have to be carefully planned. At first, Anna seemed to understand. I think she liked how grounded I was, how focused I am. She's in college, surrounded by the usual crowd of students juggling part-time jobs and light responsibilities, and maybe being with me made her feel a bit more grown-up. And I liked her energy. She brought a sense of fun into my life, the kind I rarely had room for on my own. But then there's this whole other layer, her friends, specifically Chloe and her boyfriend, Mark. They've been a presence in our relationship from the start, sometimes in ways that felt more like interference than support. 6 months ago, Anna told me about something that stuck in my head ever since. She said that Chloe and Mark had cornered her one night, I think after a party or something, and started pressing her about how much she really loved me. Then, as if that wasn't already weird enough, Mark offered to introduce her to some other guy he claimed would be perfect for her. Anna told me about it later, laughing it off and calling it a twisted joke. I tried to laugh too, but something about it didn't sit right. Why did they feel comfortable enough to say something like that in the first place? Why was the idea of someone else even on the table? Don't get me wrong, I don't think Anna was entertaining the idea. She told me it bothered her too. But the fact that her 2 closest friends felt entitled to weigh in on our relationship like that, it left a sour taste in my mouth. And it made me realize how different our worlds really are. Anna's in this phase of life where everything still feels possible. She talks about studying abroad next year, about spontaneous road trips, about moving to New York, just to try it for a while. And I listen and I smile and I want all those things for her, truly. But I'm also grounded in a different kind of reality. My responsibilities aren't going away anytime soon. I'm not saying I want her to drop everything and take on my burdens. But I need someone who at least gets it. Who doesn't see my life as an obstacle to the fun they could be having. And lately, I've started to wonder if I'm just dragging her down. Or maybe if we're just too different, not in values necessarily, but in lifestyle, in priorities, in timing. Then came the incident. I've been replaying it a lot lately, and I think it was the turning point, the moment I stopped feeling unsure and started wondering if I've just been too tolerant for too long. It started with a group chat. Chloe and Mark were planning this road trip to another country for a long weekend, some scenic coastal town a few hours away. They invited both me and Anna. It sounded like the kind of carefree getaway most people in their 20s live for. I knew almost immediately I wouldn't be able to go. Between my mom's condition, our tight financial situation, and the logistics of being so far away, it just wasn't in the cards. That's not a new thing. I've turned down invitations before. But I always try to be upfront, never guilt-tripping anyone, never trying to make Anna feel bad for going out and living her life. So, in the chat, I replied, calm, honest, respectful. I told them I appreciated the invite, but I likely wouldn't be able to make it because of my mom's health. Then, I specifically said that Anna should absolutely still go, that I didn't want my circumstances to limit her experience. I meant it. I was trying to be supportive. And then, Mark jumped in. No hesitation. No empathy. Just this sudden, Out of nowhere, almost aggressive message saying, "That's not a real reason." He compared it to his own situation, said his mom has health problems too, but he still finds time to live his life. As if caring for someone chronically ill is just about finding time. As if the emotional and logistical weight of my situation was just some flimsy excuse to avoid hanging out. I was stunned. I sat there staring at my phone, rereading his words, feeling a slow burn in my chest. But it didn't stop there. He kept going. He actually warned me, told me that if I kept this up, if I held Anna back, our relationship would grow cold, and that I shouldn't be surprised if I wake up one day to an unwanted message and get left high and dry. I couldn't believe it. He said this in a group chat. Not in private. Not to Anna. To me, directly. In front of her and Chloe and whoever else was watching it unfold. It felt like some weird power move, like he wanted to publicly humiliate me or wedge something between Anna and me. And the most surreal part? Anna didn't say anything. Not then. Not even a "whoa, Mark, chill." Nothing. I took a minute before replying. I wanted to explode, but I didn't. I just said something along the lines of, "I'm sorry you feel that way, but our situations are different. And this is really a conversation between me and Anna." That's all I said. I didn't stoop to his level. But I felt humiliated. I felt exposed, like something incredibly personal had been mocked and twisted and held up for judgment by someone who didn't even try to understand. This is where things really broke. After the whole disaster in the group chat, I didn't want to sit in the tension. I needed to talk to Anna. I figured once we were out of the public eye, away from Chloe and Mark, we could have a real conversation. I thought I'd finally hear something reassuring, something validating. I thought she'd at least acknowledge that what Mark said was messed up. That she'd say, "Hey, I saw that. I'm sorry. That wasn't okay." Instead, what I got was something I still haven't fully been able to process. It didn't feel like a conversation with someone who loves me. It felt like a confrontation with someone who didn't even like me very much. I started gently. I told her I felt hurt by what happened in the chat. That Mark's comments didn't feel like a joke or a casual opinion. That it felt targeted, like he was trying to humiliate me. She blinked a few times, then shrugged and said, "He was just giving his opinion." That sentence hit like a slap. Not even a flicker of recognition that what he said was harsh, cruel, inappropriate. No concern. No empathy. No support. I sat there staring at my phone, thinking, seriously? That's it? So, I tried to explain myself better. I told her I felt like Mark's opinion was basically a public character assassination. That he used my most vulnerable truth, my life with my mom, as ammunition to shame me. That it wasn't just an offhand remark. It was a blatant disrespect of my reality. And instead of listening, she pivoted. Out of nowhere, she brought up an Instagram reel I had sent her earlier that day. Something stupid. A meme or a short clip from The Office, I think. Harmless. But she told me I had terrible timing and then said she thought the reel had some hidden message, that I'd send it to mock her or make some passive-aggressive jab about the road trip. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was like she had been saving that moment just to deflect. She was derailing the entire conversation. I tried, again, to bring it back. I said, "Look, all I'm saying is that when someone attacks me on the thing I'm most insecure about, when they weaponize my home situation, I expected you to be the one person who'd stand beside me." And she just looked at me and said, cold as ice, "You tell me who attacked you?" That sentence floored me. It was one of those moments where your brain just kind of short circuits. Because deep down, I knew what was happening. She wasn't confused. She wasn't unaware. She was gaslighting me, making me doubt what I saw, what I heard, what I felt. It was like she'd pulled the rug out from under me and then asked why I was lying on the floor. I told her I didn't expect her to fight all my battles. I didn't even need her to call Mark out directly. I just needed her to see me, to see how deeply that moment affected me. Instead, she turned it into something that was somehow my fault. Then she said it, the part that's been stuck in my head ever since. "If it bothers you so much, you could have just left the group chat." As if that was the solution. As if the correct response to being attacked is to walk away in silence while everyone else gets to keep their seat at the table. As if the problem was me, not the person who crossed a line. I didn't even know what to say. I just kind of stared at my phone, trying to keep my hands from shaking. I had laid myself bare. I had told her, "This is my weak spot. This hurts." And she turned around and told me to walk it off. Then, just like that, she said, "Anyway, subject closed." No apology. No discussion. No resolution. Just a cold, definitive dismissal, like my pain was inconvenient to her, like the conversation was some unwanted obligation she was happy to check off and forget. It was more than silence. It was erasure. That moment, that call, was the first time in our entire relationship where I felt truly alone. Not because she was far away, but because she chose not to stand with me. And I think that's when it clicked for me. This wasn't about Mark anymore. This was about her. About how she doesn't see me the way I need to be seen. About how she lets other people speak for her and doesn't protect the spaces between us. About how, when it really counted, when the choice was between empathy and avoidance, she chose the latter. Here's what makes this whole thing impossible to just brush off, to file away under relationship growing pains or chalk up as a bad day: the unbelievable hypocrisy. It was only a few weeks ago, maybe 3, tops, that I sat across from Anna while she was seething over something that had happened between Chloe and Mark. They'd had a blowout because one of Mark's friends had disrespected Chloe at a party. Something crude, dismissive. I don't remember the exact words, but I remember Anna's rage like it happened yesterday. Mark had apparently defended his friend instead of Chloe, and Anna went ballistic. For days, she vented to me. Every time we spoke, the conversation circled back to it. She repeated the same line over and over. If you ever did that to me, if you ever took someone else's side over mine when they were coming at me, that would be it. I'd be done. No excuses. She was adamant. It wasn't even up for discussion. And I remember nodding along, agreeing because of course, you protect your partner. You draw that line. You stand next to them, not across from them. That's the whole point of love, isn't it? The security of knowing someone's got you, not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. So how did we get here? How did we go from that conversation to this one, where I was the one being publicly belittled, where my most personal, painful reality was used to humiliate me in front of people I never even really trusted to begin with, and Anna did nothing. No, worse. She defended them. She made me feel like I was the one overreacting. She let them draw blood, and then told me to stop bleeding so loud. The hypocrisy burns. It's not just disappointing, it's destabilizing. It makes me feel like I can't trust what she says, like all those promises and values she claimed to hold were just for show, or only counted when she was the one hurting. And now I'm stuck here, in the mess of it. In the silence that came after she declared subject close. In the space where I should feel safe, but instead feel completely alone. I haven't slept right in days. I keep replaying the conversation in my head, wondering if I'm being too sensitive, if maybe I misread something, and then I remember that moment. The moment she looked me in the face and said, "You tell me who attacked you?" Like I was making it up. Like I needed to justify my pain. And yeah, I know my life is heavy. I know I carry more than most people my age. Being a caregiver to my mom has taught me patience and sacrifice, but it's also hardened me in ways I wish it hadn't. I'm used to being tired. I'm used to stress. But what I'm not used to, what I shouldn't have to get used to, is being abandoned by someone who swore they loved me. I'm gearing up for what I think might be our final conversation. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to plead. I've spent too much of my life having to stay calm under pressure, and this won't be any different. But I need to look her in the eye and say, "You set the standard. You told me how important it was to have your back. But when it was my turn to need that same loyalty, you left me out in the cold." I'll tell her that it's not about a trip, or Mark, or even the damn group chat. It's about trust. And how it's not something you rebuild by pretending it was never broken. The truth is, I don't know if this is fixable. I don't know if this was just a lapse, a moment of weakness where she chose the easier road, or if this is part of a bigger pattern. A deeper flaw in who she is and how she loves. Maybe she's the kind of person who stands up only when it's easy, who backs down when the room gets uncomfortable. And that's what I need to find out. Because I can't afford to love someone who folds under pressure. My life doesn't have space for halfway love or empty loyalty. I'm already carrying so much. I can't carry a relationship that doesn't carry me back. So I'll have that conversation. I'll give her that chance. I'll say everything with clarity and calm, and without holding back. But if she still can't see it, if she still won't own what happened, then I'll know, finally and completely, that this isn't about overreacting. It's about survival. And I'll walk away, not because I stopped loving her, but because I started loving myself enough to stop settling for someone who didn't stand up when it really mattered.